Welcome everyone. Today's video we are going to be discussing the things that you should be doing when you're going to start building, but you probably aren't or probably don't want to. I myself am incredibly guilty of this. I say, oh, it's time to build something. Alright, let's do this. Just gonna go ahead and... yeah, there, okay, there, yep, there. Alright. Hey, wait a second. Why doesn't my house look good? You see, in that example, I forgot the primary thing that you need to do when you're gonna build something. You gotta go in having a plan. As fun as free building is, and it is fun, I've found that it usually doesn't work out that well, especially when you compare it to actually planning something out. There's all kinds of different issues that can come into play, such as different elevation changes, which may require you to use resources to fix them, or just not lining things up properly because the grids don't align. So, how do we fix this? First things first, let us find a fairly flat surface, or at least a flatter surface. We'll go ahead and build that, and the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to focus on the foundation. We want to make sure that everything we build ends up snapping to other pieces in a clean fashion. So once we build our first pieces, put this here, what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way around, and we're going to make sure that we get our outside correct on our base. Now, as you can see, because we have built all the way around and focused on building the outside foundation and infrastructure of our home, we now can cleanly snap our last piece in, and we now have a perfect grid. It's not a square, I think it's actually a rectangle, but you will be able to put pieces, building pieces, throughout this entire thing, and you should have no overlaps when all pieces are touching each other. By utilizing this method, we can now easily clip in all of our other pieces, and instead of placing them by eyeballing, all of them will just snap to the exact locations we want, and we don't have to worry about anything being out of place or anything not being supported by the structure. Everything from here on out just places nice and easy. A little bit of pre-planning goes a long way. So next up, we're going to show you the same concept, but for when you're building vertically. When building vertically, building your supports first is probably one of the most important things you can do. With the supports in place, we should now be able to start building up in the form of a roof, and if we wanted, second floors, maybe even third floors, because we have the functional infrastructure that will hold up the higher parts of our building. And just like that, we already have a structure that looks infinitely better than my first try, where I wasn't really trying that hard. I was more just clicking pieces all around, but you get the point. A little bit of planning goes a long way here. With the basic structure now fully complete and all of my infrastructure in place, now we begin the iteration phase. I look at my structure and I say, where do I want this to go? What direction do I want to take this? What things do I think it needs? It is during this phase that I start adding things such as doorways, gates, beds, cutting out rooms here and there. Now the whole point of this phase is that your building is never really done. Even when you think you're finished, you can always add to it, you can always expand, you can always change things. This game has a lot of depth to it. So we're trying to figure out how can we make this better. At this stage, we start adding things we want, such as beds, and we start thinking about the more functional needs that we have. So that we know in order to sleep in a bed, we're going to need a fire nearby. So, we have a couple different strategies here. One, we could just build the fire on the outside. Alternatively, and for the sake of this video, I want to build it inside. Why? Just, because I can. To solve this problem, I broke one of the floorboards and used the hoe tool to raise the ground inside of the house. Bonfires can only be built on ground, so once I exposed the ground and had enough area to cover it, the bonfire could be easily placed down and will now act as a campfire for this entire room. I also had to build a chimney outside of it so that the bonfire could put the smoke outside of it without causing smoke issues or putting itself out. And as you can see, here is the final product. All it takes is a little bit of planning and not just rushing in and free building, and your things can turn out a little bit nicer than you might expect sometimes. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button, that subscribe button. Any interaction you do will help my videos out and help me out as a content creator. You guys are much appreciated. Thank you all, and I hope to see you next time.